Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we will review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Clueless.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Clueless came out in 1995 with a runtime of 1 hour and 37 minutes. It's streaming on Paramount+. It was written and directed by Amy Heckerling. The main stars are Alicia Silverstone, Stacey Dash, and Brittany Murphy. Fun facts, Clueless was based on Jane Austen's novel Emma. Also, there was a TV show that was released the very next year after the movie. Many of the actors are on the TV show, but Alicia Silverstone turned it down.
It's weird that they don't call her Emma then, since that's the name of the book.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Emma's not the name of the character? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read that book. I don't know much about it. There's a movie called Emma, based on the book by Jane Austen. Mrs. Stewart said we should watch that and then compare the two. So what do you think, Nat?
I thought it was okay. I don't like the concept of her with her stepbrother. I thought it was weird. And then I also didn't really like how she became friends with Ty just to be like, whoa, we can transform her. Like, look what we can do. Look at our new little project. Like, I thought that was kind of rude.
Yeah, it was as I was doing the recap, there was a few things there that made Cher not necessarily the most truly kind person. So
especially since she often kept Ty from being with the skater guy that she wanted to become friends with,
right? Just
because he was uncool or whatever. Which is if you make friends with someone, you shouldn't prevent them from making other friends.
Yeah,
it's actually, almost isolating them to you.
That scene reminded me of. I won't get to that scene, but reminded me of Mean Girls when they didn't want her to be part of the mathletes. Yeah. There was, what was it? Something suicide? What was it? Social suicide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of similar.
So I thought it was a fun movie, but I don't think I would go out of my way to watch it again.
All right, what do you rate it?
I give it a 3.5 stars.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those popular movies from the 90s. It's really cute. It's fun. But looking back on it, there's some things that maybe wouldn't necessarily hit anymore. So we'll probably get into that.
Why don't we get into the recap?
Real quick before we get into the recap, what do you think about our new studio? So we put in some decorations. We put in some rugs and some new
couch covers.
And now we have a permanent studio. What do you think of it?
I love it. It's much more comfortable than having random chairs in my room.
Right. We used to do it in Nat's room, and it'd be kind of hard. I'd have to move the table up and disconnect all the wires and everything. But now we have a permanent power source, and we have a room that's just built for us.
It's perfect.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And there's a TV in here for watching movies.
There you go. We can watch the movies in here, and then we can podcast immediately after. Or at the same time, if we ever do a live show or something like that.
No. How long? It's a 2-hour show.
No. Yeah, I guess that would be boring. People would turn it off. No, maybe not. Who knows? It'd be funny. I don't know. It might be good. We're watching the movie and you're like, oh, like a scary movie and you're screaming throughout the whole time. That'd be pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and get to the recap now. We meet 16-year-old Cher, who's a daughter of a wealthy lawyer.
It feels like all the protagonists of these teen bopper movies are always super rich. Cher's super rich. The girls from 10 Things I Hate About You are super rich. Regina from Mean Girls is super rich. A lot of those people are
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They have money, right? Cameron has money.
Yeah, exactly. Or Legally Blonde, her family has a mansion.
That's true. Huh. That's a good point. I wonder how many teeny bopper movies are about people who aren't totally rich, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe because they're supposed to look super cool and glorious. Supposed to look super cool and glamorous, and maybe that's why we want to watch movies about them. I don't know. Anyway, she drives to school and picks up her best friend Dion on the way. At school, Dion and Murray, her boyfriend, get into an argument, and Cher has to push away a boy who hugs and kisses her.
As if.
As if. Would you like that? I mean, like, really, do guys just go up to girls and just start kissing on them, and then they're like, ew, get away, right? It's a famous joke scene, but yeah, I don't know. In debate class, Cher is comparing Haitian immigration to a party that she threw for her father. She's awful. Then her teacher, Miss Geist, passes out report cards, and Cher gets a C. Another boy, Travis, is so upset he jokingly tries to jump out the window. That's kind of a funny part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Don't kill yourself just yet.
That's what the teacher said?
Yeah.
That is funny. She was very disappointed. There's actually that scene where she talks about Haiti and Haitians. She says Haitians or something like that. Uh-huh. And the actress, Alicia Silverstone, actually said the line incorrectly. Like, she doesn't know how to pronounce Haitians. Uh-huh. And they kept it in the movie.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's like a famous scene, which ends up working out, right? Mm-hmm. Cher goes home and we find out her mother died when she was a baby. She's also very loving to her father and takes care of him and his health. In the house, we meet Josh, her stepbrother, from one of her father's failed marriages.
Josh. What a name.
Yeah, what a name. Not that you're related to a Josh or anything like that, right, Natalie?
What? No.
I guess we never call him Josh, right? We only call him Joshua, so yeah.
Josh.
He's in college, actually kind of like our Joshua. He's in college nearby and stops by to work with Cher's dad.
Did you ever figure out how old he is?
You know, I never did. I couldn't figure it out. I think that since he is pre-law, he could be a freshman, but I don't think he's a freshman. He's not in the dorms. Usually you would be in the dorms the first couple of years. He has his own apartment. So I'm thinking he's probably a junior or senior. So you're looking at 20, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah. Cher's 16.
Cher's 16. And we know Cher's 16. We know that. They've mentioned her age more than once.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, they tease each other about everything. Cher tells Josh that she is working to negotiate her bad report card grades into good ones, a tactic that she learned from her father. Cher begins to improve her grades by getting the PE teacher to change her grade from a C to a B. She tries to convince Miss Geist, but it doesn't work. She and Dion decide that in order to get Miss Geist to give Cher a better grade, they need to get her a boyfriend.
I don't understand though, because it was like a big report card with like a bunch of A's and then there was a C.
Her report card?
Yeah, wasn't it?
You know, there was kind of like I think someone said it's a mistake. In the original report card, there's like C's, and B's. And at the end, it's like all A's and one B or something like that. Even though on PE, she got an A, even though she says earlier that she gets a B.
Oh.
But she did get a C. I know she got a C in that class. And they think because she doesn't have a boyfriend, she is unhappy and gives everybody bad grades. Oh, I don't know if you like that part. A little stereotype right there. They choose Mr. Hall to be her boyfriend partner. They start with sending anonymous letters and roses to Miss Geist. They even spread rumors that Mr. Hall is interested.
This is almost like another, well, not really, but like almost another Mean Girls moment where Katie sends like the Valentine's grams to all her friends.
Right.
But they're like fake. It's not really related, but like it's still kind of a similar moment.
Actually, there's an even more similar moment to that Katie moment later on when she sends herself flowers.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. Then they bring an extra copy to Mr. Hall and tell him to share it with Miss Geist. The plan works, and the two fall in love.
Wow.
Cher is applauded by her classmates because Mr. Hall and Miss Geist start giving out easier grades. Cher's report card improves, and her dad is so proud. He said he's more proud than actually if she would have earned the grades on her own. So. Like, I'm so proud of you for, beating the system. So Cher feels really good about setting up the teachers, and she wants to keep doing good deeds. Then a new student named Ty walks into their PE class. She's wearing baggy clothes and asks for drugs. Cher makes it her mission to help Ty become cool. The makeover begins. Cher and Dion start by teaching Ty about all the cliques at school. Now, once again, we get the this is this clique, this is that clique, this is that clique. All right, after talking about the cliques, they talk about Ty dating Elton, who's a very popular boy. Ty really vibes with Travis, but Cher and Dion tell her that he's one of the druggies and you can't hang out with him. Kind of similar, like you were mentioning earlier.
Uh-huh.
Like, stay away from him because that's not cool. They dye her hair and get her new clothes. In addition, they make her study language lessons to sound cool, read a book daily, and do aerobics. Josh comes in and teases Cher about the whole thing.
I think the read a book daily is kind of funny because it's like you wouldn't think that that's one of their things, you know?
One of the other things that the movie is really popular for is the way they talk sounds like adults talking, you know what I mean? And so that kind of like explains why they talk the way they do, remember?
Yeah. Even though the books that she was reading were like magazines or like that stuff.
Yeah, they weren't like historical
like
novels
giant
or anything like that. Yeah.
textbooks.
Yeah, no, they're just fun books to read. Cher tries to hook Ty and Elton up. First, she starts with a photo shoot. Then they all go to a party. At the party, Ty is knocked out by a flying beer can, and Elton helps her come to, and they go off and dance together.
Why are people just throwing their beer cans?
And it's funny because she was doing like a funny dance, she gets knocked out. It's like it's a funny scene in the movie.
That's like 10 Things I Hate About You, where the girl...
There you go. There's another, yeah.
The girl gets knocked out by the chandelier while she's doing a funny dance.
Yeah. Well, her dance was more like supposed to be good dancing. The other girl, I think you would make fun of her dancing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the night, Cher tries to get Elton to drive Ty home, but he'd rather drive her home. On the drive home, Elton comes on strong and tries to kiss her. Cher asks to get out. He lets her out somewhere they don't know, and there she's mugged. She finds a payphone and calls Josh for a ride.
They literally pulled a gun on her. How traumatizing. And no one cares about it. Like, that's the one scene. And then she, like, brings it up once later and everyone's like, whatever. Yeah, like, excuse me, she's 16 years old and she got a gun pulled on her.
No. Yeah, I know. Even Josh was kind of like, he wasn't worried. They didn't call the police or anything like that, right?
No. No one cared at all. And she got robbed.
There's this movie, it's called The LA Story. And there's a scene where in LA, everybody gets mugged. That's kind of like the joke. Uh-huh. And so like at the bank, the guy gets money. And then outside of the bank, there's a guy like, hi, I'm your mugger today. Let me take your money. So maybe getting mugged in LA is no big deal. Maybe it's a normal thing that happens down there. The next day at school, Christian walks in. He is very handsome and Cher has a crush. She starts to make her move by buying herself gifts and dressing in sexy clothes. Christian asks Cher to show him around. She decides to take him to a party hosted by one of Josh's friends. When Christian comes over to pick her up, her dad immediately hates him. Then Cher comes down in a very short dress, and Josh does a double take. Josh decides to go to keep an eye, in quotation marks, on her. But her dad knows better and gives a knowing smile. So this is that one scene that I talked to you guys about, where the dad saw Josh's reaction. And when Josh says, I think I better go to the party and keep my eye on her, the dad smiled like okay, I see what you're up to. What do you think of that part? Do you think that the dad knew that he was into her?
Yeah, but it's weird.
Yeah.
Because they're step siblings.
Yeah, it is odd. Also, the dad, Mel, super hates everybody. Yeah. Everybody. Super mean. There's a scene that Ty came over for dinner and he sat in his chair. And then he's like, get out of my chair. Like, screamed at her. Like, first time he's ever met her. He screams at everybody, all his workers. Everywhere he goes, he screams. He only likes Josh. Right? And this is his stepson, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's okay with Josh kind of doing googly eyes over Cher. It's a weird situation.
And especially with the age gap, that's weird too.
We're gonna get into that. I imagine you're gonna get into it toward the end. But
Josh really helps him with the case he's working on because he's a lawyer, right?
No, he's studying to be a lawyer.
No, the dad.
Yeah, the
dad has a case, and Josh is often helping him. Yeah. So it's basically his worker trying to date his daughter. No. That's another weird thing. I feel.
No, because he kind of wants him to work with him. He wants Josh to be part of the family business. So I don't know. It seems like he has a much better relationship than just Josh being a worker for him.
Yeah, that's true.
At the party, Cher and Christian have a blast. Ty walks in and falls down the stairs. Then she sees Elton kissing a girl named Amber. Ty's so sad and lonely. And just then, Josh comes over and talks to her, and they start dancing and having fun. Cher thinks Josh is cute for doing that. That's the other moment right there. Now, Cher kind of looked at him in a different way as well. Like, she kind of was like, oh, look how sweet he is. Isn't he cute? Like, kind of that. At the end of the party, Christian wants to go to the after party, but Cher is tired, so Josh takes Cher home. The next day, Christian calls and says he'll come over with some movies and watch them together. Cher thinks that this will be the night that she loses her virginity. She gets ready, she dresses really nice, and then he comes over and they start watching the movie.
Although this seems kind of unlike Cher, because before, I don't know if it was before or after this, she goes to the mall with Ty and Dion, and then they like talk, and Ty's like, Cher, you're a virgin? And then Cher's like, why is that a bad thing? Like, she doesn't seem bothered by it, so I don't know why she like made a big deal out of this kind of. Like before she was talking like, oh, that's life's not all about that. You have to be with like the right person and stuff, which is like nice because all the high school movies are always like, you're a virgin or you're a slut. But she's kind of like, it's not a bad thing. But then like she goes and was like, I'm going to lose my virginity. Yay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a turnaround, right? Because she wasn't like proud of being a virgin. She wasn't like, oh, I want to be a virgin. She just was waiting for the right person. I guess she thought Christian was the right person.
I guess so.
Because he had everything. He was good looking. He was nice. He was funny. He was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll find out didn't work out, but yeah. That night she makes her move and Christian realizes what is going on. And he excuses himself and goes home. And Cher's crushed. The next day she tells Dion and Murray about the date and Murray starts laughing hysterically. Murray tells him that Christian is gay. And they both look back and realize that maybe Murray is right. Did you pick up on the clues that they were showing in the movie?
Yeah, because in one scene at the dance, he was like with all the guys and he was like trying to dance with them all.
Yeah, like there's a scene where he's dancing with her and then a guy is next to him and then he starts dancing with the guy.
Yeah.
Like Cher doesn't even notice, but he's dancing with another guy.
Like he kind of seemed like he wanted to hang out with them more than her.
And then the bartender. And then at the end, he wanted to go to the party with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, they were throwing the little hints as opposed to the stereotypical hints that he's super handsome, that he's well dressed, that he, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't. I mean, other than those, which she didn't pick up on, they were throwing a couple of hints in there that he seemed to be interested in guys. You know.
Yeah.
The next day at the mall, Cher and Christian see some boys harassing Ty. Christian goes over and stands up for Ty, and then she begins to ham it up like she was in danger, almost dying. Because of that, she becomes really popular and starts treating people kind of rudely. Cher doesn't like it, especially when she sees Ty being rude to Travis. After Cher fails her driving test, she goes home sad and sees Ty and Josh together. They ask about the test, and she tells them what happened. Well, she crashed the car, right? Like,
yeah.
She got into a car crash during the test. Then Ty tells her she's interested in Josh. Cher tells her she doesn't think they're a good fit. They're not compatible.
Maybe because their age gap is so big.
I know. Ty gets hurt, insults Cher, and then she leaves. The next moment, Cher goes on a walk and realizes that she's the one that's in love with Josh.
I love how they give like a little flashback moment, like we didn't just watch the movie.
There were some scenes that weren't in the movie, like they're just extra scenes where they're kind of goofing around and they're being silly with each other. And I don't know, they're kind of being cozy with each other the way, you know, a brother and sister would be cozy with each other, just goofing off and teasing each other and having fun. So
yeah.
I don't know why she thought that was love, but okay. After that, things with Josh become a little awkward because she tries to see him as a possible boyfriend or a love interest as opposed to just her brother. Cher decides to do an inner makeover and he'll make a difference. That's when she decides to help lead the Pismo Beach Disaster Relief Squad. She donates many of her things and helps collect donations. At home, Cher and Josh are working together to help out her dad with some paperwork. A junior lawyer gets angry with the mistake that Cher made, and Josh stands up for her. The lawyer storms off. Cher is worried that she has set her dad back, and Josh says he'll take care of it. They kind of have a little moment. Then they kiss. There you go. They kiss. At the end of the movie, they are at Mr. Hall and Miss Geist's wedding. Cher catches the bouquet, kind of wrestles for it, right? And she and Josh kiss again. The end. What a cute movie. You know, there's a couple things I want to talk about. The brother-in-law. not the brother-in-law, the stepbrother. When did her dad marry his mom?
I don't know.
Because if it happened 6 months ago and then they divorced like 3 months later, that's not a big deal. They've only known each other for like 6 months or whatever, a year maybe.
He's his stepson and his son-in-law.
No, well, yeah, maybe eventually, right? But if I don't, and I can't remember if in the movie it said so, if he married his mom like 10 years ago, and them known each other since they were like 5 and 6 years old, like he was 12 and she was like 7 years old. That's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. All right. Could this movie still be made today?
I don't know.
All right. Tell me why.
I don't think most people would go for the concept of her dating her like stepbrother. I think more people would be like, ew, now than back then. And then I feel like some little things that were like kind of mean, like how they were like, Mrs. Geist needs to have a boyfriend to be happy.
You don't think that would happen now?
No, I think that they would have maybe like done something more nice for her.
Okay. All right. Because you need a man for happiness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I could see that still happening now. I can see where they make movies where we need to get them together so that way they can be happy.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They use like the R word, which is like a common theme.
In these type of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Cher said
Who uses it?
I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I just wrote down on my paper, R word.
Sure.
Cher was kind of racist at one point. Because the maid lady was like talking to her about like the gardener. And Cher was like, what do you mean? I can't talk to him. I don't speak Mexican.
Yeah. There you go. All right. You know, that's like...
And then the lady's like, I'm Salvadorian.
I'm Salvadorian, which is funny because you're Salvadorian.
Yeah.
The one thing that sometimes that kind of situation, I don't know if it denotes racism or like rich privilege. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I don't think that if you're rich, that means you can just be ignorant, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
Plus, she's like seen throughout the movie, like saying all these big words and trying to talk to people. Like, she would know the difference.
No, but I think all those big words are just to look cool.
I do like how once Cher realized that, was his name Christian?
Yeah.
That Christian was gay, that she like was still friends with him, which I thought was nice. Because usually I felt like the movie, I was like, oh, she's just gonna never talk to him again because he broke her heart. But I think she like understood him and was kind of like, no, we're still friends. We're still good friends. We get along.
Yeah, she said they're like best friends, even maybe closer than she and Dion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that makes sense. It's good.
Which makes sense because it's like you were compatible. You were compatible enough to date, so then you're compatible enough to be like really good friends.
Sure.
I think
That's a good point.
And I feel like a lot of other movies would have been like, he broke my heart. Now I'm never gonna talk to him again.
Yeah, maybe. Or kind of like ostracize him because he was gay. This is 1995, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking at almost 30 years ago. And geez, almost 30 years ago. Almost 30 years ago. That's when I graduated high school in 1995. So.
Daddy.
Almost 30 years ago. You know. So 30 years ago, you know, it was definitely not as open as it is now, you know, and people are coming out more as opposed to back then. I think it was like he never came out to her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that we know is because Murray said as rumor or that people have heard about him, but he never came out to her. He never told her anything. Which
I think is okay because I feel like people think it's necessary to come out, like, because like being gay is like different and special and weird. Yeah. I feel like maybe if everyone's just like, oh, people can like other people, like people can just be happy with each other, then
they don't need a label, they just be themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But I did think it was weird how Cher was like, Ty, you can't be with the skater dude because he's a nerd and he's gross. And then later she's like, what are you doing? You love him. Go after him. Like, what is this double standard?
Yeah, well, I think, she grew, right? I think the point is, like, she learned to be better, right? Because originally she was doing it for popularity, and then afterwards she was like, no, be who you want to be with, right? The other thing is, she smoked weed in the movie, right? She said it's okay to smoke, like, at a party, but just not all the time. Kind of like she makes the rules about what's okay to be.
Yeah.
Right? And then they put Travis down because he doesn't follow their rules.
It works for only on, like, technicalities or, like, whenever she wants it to.
Right.
Work.
And at the end, Travis actually gets into skating more, and we didn't talk about that, but then he stops smoking. Yeah. He gives up smoking because he actually gives away his drug paraphernalia to the Pismo Beach Relief Fund. Uh-huh. And then he focuses on his skating, and then he and Ty kind of get together. I think Cher was cool about it because she stopped trying to put on the fronts, right? She stopped trying to be the popular girl. She just was trying to make a difference and be a better person.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
I think it does.
Yeah, I think so too. All right. Well, the Bechdel test is a test to check for female representation in movies. There are 3 criteria. The first criteria, there are more than one named females.
Yeah, there's Cher, and there's Dion, and there's Ty. And
Miss Guys, Amber, yeah, a whole bunch, yeah. All right. At any point, criteria number 2, do anybody talk to each other? Do any of the females talk to each other?
Cher's obviously always talking to Dion and Ty because they're her best friends. Mm-hmm. And then she was talking to Miss Geist in the beginning when they had that whole, like, mini plot line about getting her together and also raising her own grade with Miss Geist.
All right. And do they talk about criteria number 3? Do they talk about anything other than a boy?
I don't actually think they did for the 2 main best friends of Cher. Really? But I do think that Cher discussed with Miss Geist about joining the, like, Pismo Beach Relief Fund, or one of those Save the Things.
Yeah, sure.
One of the Make a Difference movements that Miss Geist was interested in. And I think she also talked about, like, raising her grade. I'm not sure.
Talked about her passing or not passing the test. Actually, a lot of them. I think there was a lot of scenes where they didn't just talk about a boy. So it does pass the Bechdel test. All right. Anything else before we move on?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app.
We put out an episode every Monday. If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion.
And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, we're watching Interstellar, so I hope you join us.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!